Hello everybody, how are you? Hello everybody, how are you? It is time to start our day. It is time to work and play. Hello everybody, how are you? It's time to be really quiet today. Today we are hibernating. We're hanging out with my friend Bear. Here's my friend Bear. It's wintertime. In the wintertime, bears are one of the animals that hibernate. So when you hibernate, what you're doing is you're sleeping. You're resting for all winter long. So when you're sleeping or you're resting, you should be quiet. So we're going to be kind of quiet today while we're chatting and learning. I would like to start you off with a book, and it's called When It Starts to Snow. And you can see, oh, look at this. If I open the book, you can see, I'm going to cover myself up. Look at all those animals there, you guys. Look at all of them. Do you think all of those animals hibernate? Cows, do you think cows hibernate? Or how about kitty cats? Do they hibernate in the winter? If you have a cat, does your cat disappear all winter long? No, because not all animals hibernate. Some do and some don't. Let's read this story together and find out a little bit about what animals do in the wintertime. It's called When It Starts to Snow. What if it starts to snow? What do you do? Where do you go? What do you boys and girls do when it starts to snow? Do you put your snow clothes on and run outside? Do you hang out inside and watch it through the window? I creep into the house, says the mouse. Can you see the little mousie? Looking for a warm place to stay. Cold winds blow when it starts to snow. I sit by the window, says the cat. Big eyes glow when it starts to snow. Ah. I keep watch, says the shiny black crow. Caw, 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 when it starts to snow. I look for seeds, says the sparrow. Peck, 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 when it starts to snow. What if it starts to snow? What do you do? Where do you go? We fly south, say the geese. Honk, 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 when it starts to snow. I build a lodge, says the beaver. The work is slow. Chop, 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 when it starts to snow. The water is chilly, says the fish. It's best to lie low. Swish, shh, shh, when it starts to snow. I go in the barn, says the pig, if it's too cold to hoe. When it starts to snow. I wait for the farmer, says the cow. He's coming, I know. Moo, 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 when it starts to snow. What if it starts to snow? What do you do? Where do you go? I hide my eggs, says the hen, so the chicks can grow. Cluck, 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 when it starts to snow. I fly high up, says the rooster. Listen to me crow, cock-a-doodle-doo, when it starts to snow. I stay here, says the worm. Can you see the teeny, tiny little worm down there? It's warm down below. Wiggle, dig, dig, when it starts to snow. So it sounds like maybe worms hibernate. They dig down into the ground. What if it starts to snow? What do you do? Where do you go? I wear a new coat, says the stoat. A king from head to toe. White winter fur when it starts to snow. I follow the turtle, says the frog. Down into the mud I go. Peep, 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 when it starts to snow. Another hibernator. I look for a place, says the deer, where the moss and grasses grow. Leap, leap, run, when it starts to snow. I dive down the hill, says the otter. I go with the flow. Slip, slip, slide, when it starts to snow. Look, says the black bear. The snow is deep. Hurry, scurry, time to sleep. Oh, where did everybody go? I see some footprints there. I see somebody peeking. I see some footprints there. Bat in a cave, snake in a rock pile, raccoon in a log, squirrel in a hollow, mole in a tunnel, rabbit in a hole, wolf in a den, chipmunk in a burrow. They all found places to go. Snow on the roof, snow on the ground, brand new snow coming down, coming down. I can't sleep when the snow wants to play. 3 cheers for snow, hip hip hooray. We don't hibernate, do we? People don't. We get out there and we enjoy the snow, but bears hibernate. Frogs and toads do. Squirrels do. Some. I've still seen some out and around. Bats do. Raccoons do. Hedgehogs do. Bears do. Now, last week when we got together, we met a hedgehog. His name was Hedgie, and he was in a story called The Hat. I brought Hedgie back with me again today. He is going to show us where he hibernates for the winter. He is a hibernating hedgehog. He likes to go to sleep all winter long. So Hedgie, would you like to share? Here's Hedgie. Remember Hedgie? He's got all these prickles sticking out of him. Would you like to share with us where you sleep? Would you like to show us your hibernation area? Look at what he brought with him today. This is his place where he can go to sleep. Let's see what he has in it, and then we'll let Hedgie get to the business of hibernating. He's got things to keep him warm. Look at this. He's got some cotton balls to keep him warm. He's got some leaves that he can wrap up in. He's got some rocks. He's got some pine needles and some pine cones. Anything else you see in there? I think that's about everything. Hedgie, where do you fit in here? Let's see if we can find Hedgie a nice warm spot in his basket to hibernate this winter. Let's put him get him all snuggled up in there. I'm going to put some cotton around him. Try to keep him a little bit warm. There you go. Do you see Hedgie in there? He's almost kind of camouflaged, isn't he? He's hard to see in there. This is Hedgie's hibernation basket. You can make one as well. If you still have your Hedgie from when we read our book last week, or if you have another animal that you want to help hibernate, what can you use? What materials can you gather and put together so you can help an animal hibernate this winter? Maybe, it might be a little late, but maybe you could even put some things outside. Maybe you can put some cotton and some special leaves or some things outside so animals in your area that hibernate can gather them and make themselves little nests, because that's kind of what they do. They usually do it before wintertime, though. They do it late summer in the fall so they can get ready. But you might still have some stragglers. I've been surprised at how many birds I hear singing outside. You usually don't hear them in the wintertime, but there have been a lot of birds around my house and a lot of squirrels too. So you might find some friends that are still looking for a place to hibernate. Like I said, I've got my friend Bear here, and he is looking for a place to hibernate. So we are going to make another bear for him to have as a companion, and they're going to hibernate together. You can print this off. You can have your grown-up print this off of the internet today. You should probably do 2 of them, or at least print one and have a second piece of paper, because I'm going to put mine together and cut them out. This is what shape, what pattern is this? This is a bear, isn't it? He's going to be my bear's friend. So I'm going to put 2 fingers on the bottom, my thumb up on top. I'm going to open the mouth and chop, 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 and I'm going to cut out my bear. This is my steering wheel hand. He's going to help guide me. And now notice I'm holding the 2 papers together. That is so I can cut both out at the same time. So that way I don't have to do double the work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut along the black line here. And I'm going to turn my steering wheel hand, and it's going to help me get all these little curves of the bear's body. So while I'm cutting, I want to tell you what I'm going to do with my bear. When I'm done here, I am going to decorate him. I'm going to give him eyes. I'm going to give him some fur. What else do you think a bear would need? You can put on your bear whatever you'd like. And then I am going to close him. I'm going to put the 2 pieces together, and I'm going to attach them together. Now, I can do this in a couple of different ways. I can poke holes or punch holes around the edge of the bear, and I can use yarn to thread or to sew him closed, or I can use staples. And since staples are a little bit faster, I think I am going to do that while we are working together. But when I close my bear, I'm not going to close him up all the way. I'm going to leave part of him open, because then I'm going to stuff him. I'm going to put some cotton balls inside of him, and I'm going to stuff my bear so he's like a little stuffed animal. See, there we go. I have a front of my bear and a back of my bear. I'm going to put them together. Like I said, now I'm going to get my stapler, because that's a little bit faster than sewing and poking the hole. So for our time together, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to go around his body, and I'm going to close him up with some staples. But I am going to leave his head open right now so I can stuff him so he can be fluffy on the inside. Let's do one more down on this foot so cotton balls don't fall out. Okay, see how he's closed all the way around, except for up here. What I can do now, oops, I might have to take one out. I'm going to have to take one of my staples out. He's a little too closed. Well, let's get some cotton balls and we're gonna stuff him. And then, like I said, I can decorate him. I can give him some fur. Yeah, I'm gonna need to take out a staple, I think, to get him stuffed. I'm a little tight here. Let's see. There we go. I can get him in there. He's gonna need some eyes. So when he wakes up, he can look around and see if it's spring yet. There we go. Now I'm gonna close him off at the top. And there's my bear. He's got a nice soft middle and nice soft head. Let me see, I think, yep, I have a marker here. Let me give him some eyes. And then I'm going to give him some fur, like I said. Here's one eye. Big blue eyes on my bear. I have some pieces, bits and pieces here that I'm going to use to decorate my bear. I have a baggie of pieces that I saved from other projects. I've got some yarn in here. I've got some pom-pom balls. So what I can do is I can take it and I can glue it on. I'm just going to do a little right now. You can decorate your bear with markers, with whatever you have, and you can do as much or as little as you want. I'm just going to do a little right now. There. And I can keep, well, it almost looks like a bow tie, doesn't it? This is my bear, and I am going to have him hibernate. I have a special box. Let me show you, actually, before we put him away. I have some pictures of where bears hibernate. Bears kind of hibernate in caves frequently. Do you see that? That's a cave kind of in the side of a mountain there. This is the opening to the cave right here. This is the outer part, and this is where he would walk in. Here's another picture of the bear inside the cave. You can actually see the bear hibernating in there. He's waiting wintertime out, hanging out inside of his cave. I don't have a cave. I'm going to use my box. You could decorate your box as well. You could decorate that. But I'm just going to take my bear. I'm going to put him inside the box. I'm going to put his friend with him, my other bear friend, and they're going to hibernate in the same cave, the same box together. I want them to be warm, so I have a blanket for them. I'm going to cover them up. There you go, guys. You guys have a nice long rest, and we will check on you in the spring and see if you're ready to wake up. Now that I've got my bear hibernating, I'm going to put them in a quiet, safe place, and I'm going to let them sleep until springtime, okay? And then we'll check on them and we'll wake them up. I have a song I'd like to sing with you. Are you ready? Bear is sleeping in his cave, in his cave. Wonder when he'll wake up, wonder when he'll wake up in the spring, in the spring. Okay, now, we said we don't hibernate, but if we did, what would you want to have in your cave with you? Let's think about that. What would you take in your cave? Let's make a packing list together. You know, like when you go on a trip, you pack up your suitcase. We're going to make a hibernation packing list here. Let's see if I can make this stand up a little bit. Okay, this says hibernation packing list, and I'm going to put it here. And you guys think with me, what can we put? What would we bring? I would want to bring, I think I'd want to bring blankets. It would be cold, so I'd want to bring blankets. So I'm going to write down blankets. That's the first thing I would pack, blankets. If I'm going to be sleeping, I'm going to want a pillow. I'm going to want to be comfortable. I'm going to bring a pillow. What else do you think? What would you bring? If you were hibernating all winter long, what would you want to have with you? Maybe a book, in case you woke up a little bit from your nap and you wanted to read. You can bring a book to read. I know I'd get hungry. I'd want snacks. I'm going to bring some snacks with me when I hibernate. What else? Maybe a friend. I think I'd bring a friend with me. I might get lonely. I think I'll bring a friend. That's a pretty good packing list. You can make a packing list too. And then maybe you can set up, I'm inside my cave right now. Maybe you can set up a cave later and you can hibernate. I happen to have the things that I was thinking of. I have a pillow in case I want to snuggle up later and fall asleep. I've got a couple of blankets with me to keep me warm. And I brought a friend. I brought a teddy bear friend. So I'm going to hibernate. But before I say, and I did bring my snacks. I've got some pretzels and I've got my water. So I think I'm going to be good for a long winter's hibernation here. Before you go off to create a hibernation basket for somebody or to make your own cave to hibernate in, let's talk real quick about some of the things that we know about animals that hibernate. So you know that they're safe, because that seems kind of odd that they could sleep all winter long, doesn't it? They might get really, really cold, and what happens then? Well, it's really cool how animals' bodies works when they hibernate. Their body, their internal systems regulate themselves. That means that they take care of it. They've got it under control. If their body gets too cold, it wakes the animal up. We don't have to worry about them freezing. Their body will keep them warm enough, but if it starts to get too cold, their body will automatically wake them up. So I think that's pretty cool. Another thing they do so we know they're safe is they eat a lot of food before they go into hibernation. Bears can eat as much as 30 pounds. They can gain 30 pounds. Do you know that's about how much you weigh? They eat that much food and put on that much weight to keep them comfortable all winter long, so we don't have to worry about that. I read that they do get up sometimes and take potty breaks, so that's good too. And then one other thing that I want you to try with me is you have something, you know how you have your heart inside your body? If you put your hand here, you might be able to feel it beating. Well, if you take your fingers and you put them on your neck, if you get real quiet, yeah, you can feel your heart beating in your neck, or sometimes you can feel it on your wrist as well. When we put our fingers here and you feel the little bump, 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 that happens about 60 times every minute that our heart bumps. Well, when a bear or another animal is hibernating, do you know that theirs can go about 10 times per minute? It gets so slow because they're so relaxed and they're so peaceful that their heart rate slows down, and that helps take care of their body. So we do not need to worry about the animals when they're hibernating. We will let them be. We will let them have their rest. I'm going to go do a little hibernating with my friend and my snacks and my blankets, and I hope you guys have a restful day too. I will see you next time. Bye, everybody.